What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Loading Up Podcast. I am your host, Producer J, and I'm here along with
Brother Zay.
Brother J.
Brother Zay. I am a different person today.
Yeah, apparently.
I was listening to all the podcasts today, so
yeah.
I got you guys on my mind.
Honestly, it can get confusing, especially for me when I'm with them both on Excuse Me, Brother, and I want to address one of them, and I got to remember, okay, which one is Tay, which one is Jay. It gets confusing.
Oh, it's funny.
But Brother Tay, you see, I'm getting slipped up again.
Yeah.
Brother Tay's not here again this week. Something came up last minute, so he will be skipping this week. But again, hopefully he'll be back next week. But
yeah, he'll be back next week.
How you been?
I've been all right, playing a lot of games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did some Gears of War Horde today. You know, every Sunday is
every
like
Sunday.
Our Gears Day.
Yeah.
But afterwards, me and my Gears buddies, we tried some Monster Hunter Rise.
I wish I could have joined you. Yeah, we did a little bit on Saturday.
Yeah,
I should have joined, but I was busy today.
I had to go
I gotta get a haircut. I finally got a haircut, so you'll see it on Excuse Me, Brother. So
yeah, we're playing Monster Hunter Rise. We're having fun with it. You know, bringing back because me, Brea, and Ron, we all played together Monster Hunter World, and we had a blast. So it was just bring those memories with some new mechanics and some new monsters. So it was fun. We had some fun today.
Yeah, I mean, when we played it, it's hard. Because what I heard about it before I even jumped in was that you might get discouraged by the amount of text and tutorial that there is right before you play. And that can be off-putting to a lot of people. And honestly, it kind of was for me, because I was just okay. Literally, we were trying to set up, you were waiting for me, and I'm going through 15-minute tutorial and just waiting for it to finish. I'm just okay. But the thing is that you have to pay attention to it, because otherwise you're not gonna know how to do anything. If you look at the gameplay that I recorded, I was trying to figure out how to do the targeting system and how to lock on and stuff like that, and it's I could not figure it out.
I'll let you know right now, we figured it out.
Oh, you did? How does it work? Because I still, after I recorded, I could not figure it out.
Oh, all right, it's not like a hard lock. It's not gonna lock on and stay locked on. If you get distracted, just tap LB and it locks onto the monster. Just a tap, not hold it.
Okay.
If you hold it, you bring up any of the shortcut menus. So you just tap it and boom, it locks onto the monster.
But it doesn't stay locked on.
No, it's not like a hard lock where it's you're on it. Not in the traditional lock on.
Man, that kind of stinks.
Well, because they want you to feel open instead of just focusing on the monsters. You have all this space where you can jump around and go to different spaces to watch out for other monsters and their attacks. So they don't want you just focused on the monster, because a lot of things can happen.
I guess. I think the issue with me though is why I want to lock on is because unless you have a ranged weapon, you're going to be up close. And when you're up close, that monster is big and it's going to be moving around, and it could be disorienting when you're trying to stay on target and try to attack, because you'll be charging up an attack and then it moves and then it's just oh, where did it go? It's behind me now. Granted, I guess that's part of the difficulty or the challenge to it, but I just feel it's clunky.
Maybe you'll be better with a bow.
Maybe. I'm going to have to try different weapons, because I only tried 2. And I was watching a video on Twitter of somebody who was playing. They had a long stick thing. And I was that looks like it could be easy to use. Because at least if I miss, the stick is long enough that it'll probably hit it wherever it goes,
Yeah, so maybe you just need to switch up the weapons. You gotta find your groove. That's all part of those early on quests where you're hunting the little monsters. So
yeah, I guess I didn't give it enough time.
Yeah, I gotta give it some time, because we had a blast playing it. And killed one of those big monsters in a group, and it was fun.
Oh, well, let me know when you guys play again. Maybe it's better with, because we just tried it with us two, and it took forever. Oh my god, and we lost. So
hold on. I just want to reiterate. You lost because
Okay,
you died.
I lost. Fine, I'll admit it. But yeah, no, I failed because I didn't know what I was doing
Yeah,
and I
we sort
couldn't.
we sort of just jumped right into the deep
Yeah,
end.
no, we took the direct route to the hardest. Well, maybe not the hardest, but one of the hardest monsters to try and capture because
Yeah, early
you,
game for sure. We were just like,
yeah,
let's jump into
and
the
we
ocean.
yeah, no, we should have known something was up because it said the time limit was 50 minutes, and I'm just like,
Oh,
damn, that's a lot of time.
that's for every mission in Monster Hunter though.
Oh,
You
okay.
get 50 minutes to complete your mission, and then you could either go back or you can stay out there doing more stuff.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
like I said, next time let me know when you guys play, and maybe the outcome will be different, or it'll be the same because I keep dying, and I'll just screw you guys over.
It's okay. We will teach you.
Okay. But aside from that, what else have you been playing?
Some more Sonic. I'm getting really involved into the Sonic. It's a good game. I
Yeah.
really like it. Yeah, it makes me want to keep going back and playing. And thank God for quick resume on Xbox. I could just jump in and out whenever I
Yeah.
want.
Honestly, that people really downplay like the importance of quick resume because honestly, before I got my kids the Series S, they had the Xbox One S,
Yeah,
and I would play with them sometimes, but like it's so slow, and then having to like I can't just pop in a game that I stop playing for another, like I have to load everything up. It's people really need to understand how crucial quick resume is to my
yeah.
current gaming thing.
Quick resume is a beast and doesn't get talked about enough. You
It really
know,
doesn't.
it's really is. It changed gaming for how, especially for digital games. It just changed it
Yeah, I
altogether.
think that's what it is because a lot of the downplay I see comes from like PlayStation guys who never don't have the same. I mean, they have something similar with like the cards feature or whatever, but it's not the same. Like you can use cards on PlayStation 5 to jump to a specific part in certain games, not all games, but in certain
Yeah,
games, you can jump to a specific part, and that kind of is like a quick resume type feature, but otherwise, if you want to stop playing one game to join another, you have to close that first game and then load the other one. Like, yeah, the loading is fast, but it doesn't start where you're at. Like, you gotta load
yeah,
through the menus and all
exactly where
that
you
stuff.
left off. No.
Yeah,
Whereas Quick Resume, I'll leave Sonic on, and I'll leave Sonic, I'll leave now Monster Hunter Rise, and I'll leave Vampire Survivors just on exactly where I left off. I'll click it, and boom, I'm like, oh crap, I gotta move.
yeah. You
You
gotta,
know?
that's the only downside. Like, you gotta make sure you stop playing at the right time
Yeah,
because otherwise you'll just be lost on where you're at.
there's no saving yourself from in Vampire Survivors. You just have to survive. So as soon as you hit it, just be prepared to survive.
Yeah, it's really it's hard. Like I remember one time when what was it? The new update, not the new update, but like the big update for Cyberpunk when they fixed almost everything about it.
Yeah.
Um I had stopped playing like I want to say like a year before that update came out because I was just like I was burnt out. I was like I'm tired of these glitches. And granted, I didn't experience that much glitches, but I was tired of like the performance, and I just got burnt out of it. I played for like 80 hours before I was just like, okay, let me take a break, and then I never came back to it. But so the update came out, and then I reloaded back into Cyberpunk, and it before it prompted me to update the game, it was gonna launch in quick resume.
Oh
Like
wow.
that's how long it was in quick resume that
Crazy.
I stopped playing for a year, and then I started up again, and it was gonna launch where I was at before it updated.
You had that SSD working, boy.
I know it was, but yeah, no, it's really like people really don't know what they're missing out on. So it's
Yeah.
like don't downplay it till you try it.
Yeah. Just
But
real quick before we move on, because you mentioned Cyberpunk, I played it day one. Granted, I had it on the Series X, so I didn't experience any of the performance and or many glitches at all. As a matter of fact, I only experienced one. So I played it day one, played it through, and it was awesome. I loved it. And I just, as a Series X player, I never got to experience all the, bad stuff. So it's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. It was great.
Yeah, no, I played it on the One X.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
I didn't get like literally right. I tried to play it again because I stopped playing it right before I got my Series X. And then I tried to play it again and I was just like, I'm not feeling it because I had a bad taste in my mouth. And I was almost done. I was right at the end, but I didn't want to finish it because I wanted to finish all the side quests and stuff like that.
Right.
I've played it before or again afterwards, but I just couldn't get back into it. And I don't know, I guess I'm just waiting for that expansion DLC to come out before I like fully dive in.
I went back to it because of the anime. So I watched the anime that
Yeah,
came
yeah,
out,
yeah.
and I loved the anime, and I was like, well, let's get back into Cyberpunk.
Yeah, no, the anime it did reinvigorate my interest in the world.
Yeah.
That's why I'm hoping that the DLC delivers because I do want to get back into it. It's just I want to have fun again.
Yeah.
But yeah. Other than Monster Hunter, same old, same old. Just trying to finish God of War. I've made a lot of
Bro,
progress.
you
Made a lot of
sure?
progress. I have. Yes, I have. I've done. Uh, I'm almost because, like I said, I'm trying to complete the game, trying to do all the achievements or the trophies. So I'm getting out because I for whatever reason I was too focused on like the bigger ones or the longer ones that I'm
Mhm.
completely skipping past the easier ones to unlock that I could just bang out. I literally got like 3 of them last night because or the night before because I some of them were like crafting some armor sets and
Yeah.
upgrading them. And I was just like, I have these. I've had these for a long time. I just never crafted them. So I just did that real quick and popped a few of them. So,
Oh, you're trying to
uh,
like platinum it.
yeah, I'm trying to complete it 100%.
Okay. Okay.
So that way I can be done for real. Like I don't have to touch it again.
I'm gonna need you to focus, all right? We need you to beat this game.
I know. Okay, here's my what is it? My promise, I guess. Yeah.
We'll take your
I'm
promise.
gonna spend this week to finish it, not just do like the achievements or the trophies or whatever.
Oh, please.
I'll put that to the side because you said I can go back and get the rest right after the game.
You can go back and do more stuff, yes.
Okay, so I'll put it to the side for now, and I'll just finish the game like the story, because next week we'll do the spoiler cast
Okay.
for God of War, and I'll tell Brother Jay because I know he wants to join in on that.
Yeah, we gotta figure out a recording date. But yeah.
Yeah, but so we can just do a deep dive, talk about everything that there is to talk about God of War. Because honestly, I have a lot of questions, and I know Brother Jay is very into the game and the lore and all that stuff. And literally, when I was playing through the first one, he kind of guided me through. And
Okay.
whenever I had questions about like, oh, who's this and why did this happen, he would like either he would tell me himself or he would point me to like a video that goes into detail about it. And yeah, so he knows his stuff about God of War.
Yeah. Our local God of War enthusiast.
Yes, he beat it like how many times? Like 4, 5, 6 times, something like that. That was just the first game.
Yeah, I think the 2018 version, that's the only thing I saw him playing.
Yes, and I would get on him about it. I was like, "Yo, play other games."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, I really like that game,"
Yeah.
which is not wrong, but anyway. But yeah, so we can get into the news.
That's right. We'll jump right into it. So last week we reported on Ubisoft CEO coming out and having some difficult comments to say about the year ahead as well as last year, how it wasn't so great. So the Ubisoft in France, the French studio, did not like that at all. They have a union. They all wrote up a letter in protest of his statements, and they are calling for a strike. Actually, it's coming up this week on the 27th.
Mm.
So they're going to go on strike, and rightfully so, because when the CEO just comes out and says, "Well, guys, it's up to you. What kind of message does that send to your workers?
Mhm.
Especially after you're telling them, oh, we're gonna cut back, do some major cuts, and then it's up to you. Like, how do you
Yeah,
expect your employees to function properly once they hear that?
yeah, it's basically passing the buck onto the developers, which the developers are only doing what you told them to do. It's not
Yeah,
their fault. I mean, sometimes in some cases it can be their fault, but
yeah,
by and large, if you tell them to, oh, focus on AAA, focus on live service, focus on this, focus on that, they're gonna do what you told them to do, and whether they're good at it or not, that's gonna affect the game. So it's like you can't just assume that it's the developers that are the problem. Like everything falls on them. Like it also falls on management.
yeah. I mean, they're taking a big approach to it. They even have like some major demands. Like they want an immediate 10% increase for all salaries regardless of their annual increases because of inflation. They want to improve working conditions because in Paris, most of European Union, they're supposed to implement a 4-day work week. That still hasn't been done for for them in that particular
All right.
studio, and they know they have the money because Ubisoft sold a lot of stock to Tencent, so they know they have money to do this. And they also want to be more transparent with their workforce locally in the European Union as well as across the globe, so that way they can better prepare their employees if there are going to be massive layoffs.
Um,
So they have some demands. I think reason, you know, we all know a lot of these CEOs, they come out and they get these big bone paychecks compared to the lowly workers, but they can do something,
right.
especially after having making record profits. Even though they didn't have a great year, they still made record profits.
Yeah. And honestly, that's it, it kind of makes you appreciate other develop or other publishers for them taking like pay cuts. I forgot which ones do. I think Nintendo does it sometimes. Whenever like there's like a slow year, the executives will take a pay cut so that way they can reach like the financial goals for the year or whatever. I think Capcom did that as well.
Yeah. I know for
And
sure Nintendo did it. That was back in 2014.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
when like I was like the Wii U was not doing so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. The I think it was the president or the CEO. He went and took a 50% pay cut because of all the losses.
Yeah.
Now that shows that he's taking responsibility. He's trying to lead in the right direction. And of course, now we look back at that now, but we see where Nintendo is now with the Switch, and they're just
They
selling like
bounced back. Yeah.
crazy. They bounce back like crazy. So it benefits the CEOs, these companies in general, to just do the right thing instead of bashing the workers or telling them, "No, it's all up to you."
Right.
Yeah,
It's not fair and it's only gonna hurt them in the long run because now, like you said, now they're going on strike and now that's gonna affect game output, which it's already affecting them because what did they cancel like 5 games in the
it
past
was
like
like
few months?
I think it was like 6 or 7 games, and they delayed their new game Skull and Bones again after
Again.
yeah, again. So it's definitely taking a big hit.
Yeah.
Um, and the next bit of news ties directly into this because just a couple days later, the CEO came out of Ubisoft. He came out and apologized. He stated that he said, I heard your feedback and I'm sorry for this, for the way it was perceived. He said, when saying the ball's in your court to deliver our lineup on time and at the expected level of quality, I wanted to convey the idea that more than ever, I need your talent and energy to make it happen. So he's trying to say like my message was taken wrong. So he came out and apologized. His words were wrong because the message wasn't clear. But ultimately, you still have to do the right thing. You can say you're
Right.
sorry, but you have to show your actions are louder than words.
Yeah.
And he has to come out and do the right thing.
And to be honest, the damage was already done. Like
Absolutely.
you can say sorry, but the developers already felt that that negativity, even if you
Oh
never
yeah,
intended for it to be that way. They
yeah,
already did it, and now they're feeling salty because their bosses are looking down on them. But we'll
yeah.
see how this turns out. Because honestly, I at this rate, I don't see Ubisoft lasting more than 5 years.
Well, I mean, it's hard for me personally, as a consumer of Ubisoft games. I love Ubisoft games. You know, they make some great games. They have made some great games, and to see the company to go into this direction, it's disheartening. You know, there are a lot of people that work there. There's so many studios within under Ubisoft. They have some great talent. They deserve better, and let's hope that with the strike and their demands are hopefully their demands are met. Let's hope they turn around and go in the right direction, because I don't want hundreds of thousands of people to lose their jobs simply because of bad management.
Yeah, I mean, I'm correct me if I'm wrong. Has Ubisoft ever done like a massive layoff of employees?
That's a good question.
I don't think so. I at least I can't remember the time where I heard like a headline like that where Ubisoft was mass firing developers and stuff like that. Because I feel like when a company is doing as poorly as Ubisoft, that's what tends to happen. It happened with like EA, happened with Activision, happened with Take-Two. It happens with the biggest ones, but I can't remember Ubisoft ever doing that.
I don't think there's ever been like a mass layoffs, especially recently. I haven't heard of something like that. With Ubisoft, what but all these comments from the CEO sort of leans to the fact that maybe they are gonna restructure their their company. Maybe that will pertain to some layoffs. I mean, they have a ton of studios and have thousands upon thousands of people working for them. So
Yeah,
it's
no, they're
it's
big.
yeah, they're a big company. So let's hopefully people don't lose their jobs, because lots of people have lost their jobs recently, especially
Yeah,
in the tech industry. We'll touch on that a little bit later. But let's hope that they turn around.
yes.
Yeah. We're gonna continue right on going. We have some Square Enix news. It seems that Square Enix is consolidating their assets in preparation for a Sony acquisition. Now, this is just what people are guessing that may happen with them, because Square Enix sold off a lot of their assets, to try and the company is calling the consolidation one Square Enix. They're trying to consolidate everything. It earned 7.2 due to sales of all its assets, earned 7.2 million, and they're trying to figure out where they are standing in the world. And with selling all their assets, it seems like they're trying to butter themselves up for acquisition from Sony.
The I initially, when like the talk of like acquisition came up about like Square Enix and stuff like that, I assumed it would be Sony. A lot of people thought it would be Sony as well, just because of they seem to be in bed with each other and all that stuff. But I think it was like maybe it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, the CEO of um Square Enix, or
Yeah.
maybe it was somebody else, came out and said that they didn't like the idea of like exclusivity for their content, because they only like hampers their ability to grow. So essentially, not directly talking about it, they were addressing the Sony exclusive deals that they've been signing. They did it, I mean, because they needed money. I mean, every publisher does that stuff. They do it for money. But it seemed like with the new focus that they're trying to have with expansion and stuff like that, they're being hindered by that exclusive deal, because now like games like Forspoken and Final Fantasy are exclusive to PlayStation when they want to expand. Maybe not necessarily just to Xbox, but to Switch, to the PC, like all these other consoles and platforms that would benefit from having their games on them, but they gotta wait a year. So at first I thought they would be like ripe for Sony to pick up, but now I think another player might be trying to take them on, and I think that is Tencent. Because
That
I
would
feel
be
like
big.
yes, because Tencent has also, I don't know if you remember, they also, I don't know if they acquired them or if they just have a major stake in them. They also have either they bought or have a stake in Don't Nod. Do you remember Don't Nod?
Yes.
They made the Life is Strange games.
Yes.
And that that was Square Enix before they sold it off, or maybe they still have it. I don't know. But that there's that connection there already. So honestly, I think that could also be happening. And if that's true, that is, I don't know, that's kind of scary.
That's huge for the Chinese company Tencent, and it will be a big major loss for Sony. It will be a major loss. I think it will be mostly affect Sony.
Yeah, because
I say
I don't,
that
yeah, I don't see Tencent taking it off like or making it exclusive for anything. I think they'd want to keep it on like PlayStation and
everywhere.
Xbox. Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. If you got a console, let's put it there so that way they can make money back because that's what they want to do. They want to make money.
Yeah, and that's why I think that's gonna happen because Tencent would want that. Sony would not. They would absolutely 100% make all their games exclusive. There's no question about it. And I
Yeah,
don't think that's what Square Enix wants. Even though I'm pretty sure Sony could pay for it and have the money for it, I think Tencent would be a better get. Or for Square Enix, they'll be a better suitor.
well, if history has anything to say about it, we all know that Sony likes to acquire studios that they work very closely with. Like, in 2019, Insomniac Games, they made Spider-Man and they got bought by Sony, you know. And
Okay.
Sucker Punch, who did Infamous 2, they got acquired by Sony. Now they're all first party studios by Sony. So if history tends to repeat itself, like we say, then maybe Sony will buy Square Enix and they'll just have it all to themselves. Because
That's
I think it was just like a couple weeks ago that somebody said if you want to play Final Fantasy, you have to buy a PS5. So it's like maybe they are going to be acquired. Who knows?
I think they're saying that because they have to. I mean, it's either one of because before, whenever I don't know who said that exactly. It's whoever the director is for Final Fantasy 16, right?
Yeah.
So I remember. I think it just depends on who's saying it because when uh Kingdom Hearts was the collection that came out only on PlayStation. It was on
Yes.
PlayStation 3 and then 4 and then it came to Xbox later. But leading up to it, they were asking, is it gonna come to consoles? Is it come to Switch, Xbox? Like what's going on here? They just said nothing. They didn't say, oh, get a PS4, get a PS3. Like they never said. They just said nothing. They were just like, right now it's on PlayStation. That's it. So
Yeah.
I think it's really maybe whoever said that was just a fan of Xbox or PlayStation, so that's why they said it the way they said it. But overall, I think the publishers of Square Enix prefers their games to be on as many platforms as possible, but due
They
to
can make more money.
contracts, yeah, due to contracts they've already signed, they have to say it's on PlayStation. If what I do think could also happen is in the process, if Tencent were to buy them, I think they would probably sell off specific studios within Square Enix to Sony because I think Sony would really want like the people who make Final Fantasy because they as much as Sony wants the IP or maybe they could buy the IP because
Yeah.
I mean Square Enix has been selling off IP as well. Um, I think Sony just wants something tangentially related to Final Fantasy so that way they can promote that. And I think that's the goal for Sony because they just want the association. They don't care about owning it as much as just being associated with it. If they see the opportunity to buy them, then yeah. But I think it's more about association. That's what they do with all their stuff. That's why they pay for exclusive deals in the first place.
Yeah. we'll just have to wait and see for more news on that because at this point it's anybody's guess.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean, we're all just guessing. Yeah.
yeah, at this point it's anybody's guess because nobody's in the boardrooms, nobody knows for sure. And it's not just Tencent and Sony, it's also Embracer because they're big in the game and trying to get IPs. So
Right.
it's a lot of players, and we're just the little guy looking on, trying to figure out what's gonna happen next.
Yeah. It's acquisition season apparently.
Yeah. So speaking of acquisition season, we're gonna jump right into some Microsoft news because that's one of the biggest acquisition stuff that they do.
Right.
But this time we're gonna be talking about the mass layoffs that happened at Microsoft. Yeah, at first when it was reported that they were going to lay off 10,000 employees, which was just 5% of its workforce, nobody knew exactly where those layoffs were going to come from. But according to Bloomberg, as well as um, Bloomberg reporters and Verge reports, the Starfield make developer Bethesda, as well as 343 Halo Infinite's developers, they're going to be affected. Specifically, Halo developers.
So, quick question before you continue with it. Did they say Bethesda, like
Bethesda.
Bethesda the publisher, or Bethesda Softworks?
No, so this specifically stated in Bloomberg, Bethesda Game Studios.
Okay, so that's the hold on. I gotta double check because I feel like I always get those confused. Because there's Bethesda Softworks and Bethesda Game Studios. They're separate.
Yes, they are separate.
Let me just double check.
And the Halo Infinite developers, so 343 Industries were hit hard apparently.
Okay, so
really hard.
Bethesda Softworks is the publisher. So Game Studios is the one who makes Starfield, Fallout, and Elder Scrolls.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, that's what it says, Starfield developer.
Okay.
But specifically 343 Industries, the Halo developers, they got hit really hard with layoffs. And they got hit so hard with layoffs. Rumors were flying like crazy, saying that 343 is done with Halo, and Microsoft is taking Halo back. They're gonna, give it to another one of their studios. It's not gonna 343 is gone. All these rumors were flying everywhere on Twitter. Nobody knew what was real because nobody had an official source. And it kind of got crazy that 343 Industries had to come out and make an official statement that now and in the future, Halo will be a part of 343 and they will continue to work and make content for Halo. So all those rumors were squashed, and got all those people who started and spread the rumors and were seemingly making fun of people for losing their jobs.
That's so that's a bottom feeder type shit.
It was toxic. It was toxic. It really was. Now they all have egg in their face because the developers themselves came out and says, "No, we are Halo. We will continue to work on and make content for Halo." So it just goes to show you how much of all these online rumors, how they can affect everyday life, including big developers and big companies. You take one small rumor and people run with it. It starts trending on social media sites, and that affects their stocks. That takes real world effects. It affects people.
They don't realize the damage they're doing by making false rumors based off of nothing. Literally, what they said is that 343 is essentially going to become a quote unquote publishing arm, similar to how Bethesda is, that they're just going to oversee the other studios working on Halo, which honestly I don't see how you can do that, because first of all, 343, they know the ins and outs. It's they know what Halo, unless they were planning on giving Halo to another developer entirely, and if that was the case, then 343 would just be shut down. There would be no point into having the Halo dedicated studio for Halo. Like that was why they created 343 in the first place.
Yeah, and
So
it would even make sense to give it to another developer after they already made what, 2, 3 Halos?
exactly,
You
like they
know?
would it would cause like a whole reboot, and that could take years and years and years. Like Halo 5 or Halo 5, Halo Infinite took what 6 years to make, and that was just a sequel. Like granted, they had to build everything from the ground up, but it's like you're literally starting from scratch, like not just story, not just from like a gameplay perspective, but from a story perspective. That takes time to
Yeah,
build a universe from scratch. So that's there's no way that was gonna happen anytime soon.
yeah. And the people cheering this on were just it just goes to show you that sometimes, because even we do a little console warring, but sometimes the console warring can get a little out of hand.
Yeah, it's honest. Like you need to like just to address like console wars and fanboys and all that stuff. Like you need to take a step back and realize that all that we're talking about is video games. It's supposed to be entertainment. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be lighthearted. Some people are taking it way too far and too personal to the point where you lose sight of what we're actually talking about to begin with. Like when you break it down, we're talking about people losing their jobs, losing their livelihoods, and potentially going into financial ruin because of missteps that they made throughout the development of this game. And that's not a good thing. Like that's a real life like crisis for some people. And these
Totally.
people on Twitter are just taking it lightly. Like if it's just another thing, like it's funny. Like look at them squirm. Like no, that's really shitty.
It really is. It
So
really is.
just like take a step back, realize that we're supposed to be talking about video games at the end of the day. It's not supposed to be serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I am glad that they came out and said that no, we're not going anywhere. We're not handing off Halo. Like we're sticking with it. And it's that type of like dedication that I do appreciate. And I'm glad because over the past few months, there's been radical changes with 343 in terms of like management and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I do like the direction they're going because one of the I guess the head of the studio, he's I forget his last name. It's Pierre something.
Yeah.
He was in charge, or he was put in charge when the Master Chief Collection had that whole kerfuffle
Yeah.
at launch. He was put in charge to realign that train, and it worked. And now people love the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, it's one of
So
the better Halos out there.
yeah, they fixed almost all the issues that everybody had. I mean, granted, you're not going to be able to fix everything, but as long as you tackle the main important ones, that's all that matters. And you support it. That was the main issue. They needed support. So I do have high hopes for Halo's future. I just hope that they're able to deliver on a good timeline because I don't want to wait. I don't want to have more 6 month battle passes or whatever. Have a steady flow of content. And now I feel like now that Forge is out, it'll be a little bit easier to focus because whenever there's a kind of like a drought of games or of game modes and stuff like that, Forge will fill that blank.
Oh yeah, the community is great with the Forge.
Yeah, no, I've played a few of them and it's insane the
I
level
know.
of detail that they're able to go into with Forge.
We're
It's
talking
like a
about
almost
community members. We're talking about
yes,
people. This is
just
crazy.
regular players making these insane maps. I saw this guy made a Doom map, and I
Yes,
was
I
like,
did see the Doom
yo,
map. Yes.
I was like, yo, I hope, I really hope that they even expand it further to the point where you can like build an entirely different game. Like
Oh
I know
wow.
it's like literally because right now you can make a lot of maps and there's a lot of detail you can add to it, but still at the core it's Halo.
Yeah.
I want them to be able to like make it like third person, have you like with different weapons and stuff like that you normally wouldn't be able to do. Like be able to essentially create a game within Halo Infinite Forge. I feel like that would be insane. It's like what was it? Project Spark. You remember that game?
Like Spark. No.
Project Spark. So it was one of the I don't know if it was launch title or maybe like launch window for Xbox One when it first came out. And it was essentially just like a game builder. Like you just use it to like build games and stuff like that. But the only problem is that it was very basic and rudimentary, and it didn't really give you a lot of control over the stuff. It was kind of like on the rails. Like it showed you how to do stuff, and you can make a lot of things, but it was limited. So it never really took off. But with Forge, it is like insane the level of detail you can go, and I hope that they just build upon it.
That reminds me of the Forgotten City. Have you seen or heard about this game, The Forgotten City?
No.
It's on Game Pass.
Oh,
It's a
is it
mod.
a mod?
Yes, it's a mod of Skyrim that
Yes.
now it's a standalone game, which I've played and beaten. It was awesome. It you could definitely tell where it got its, fruit from. But it's a
Mhm.
completely entirely different game. Different concept, and it's it was so good. I was very taken aback by it. I was like, wow, this is just a mod, you know? The
Yeah.
community made a mod and now it's a standalone game on Game Pass. It was great.
Yeah. No, that's the potential for allowing this level of creativity in your game. And like I said, I just want it to be supported. I want it to be expanded upon because it's only good for the community
Definitely.
and for the franchise because you can only go up.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, speaking of not having 6 month battle passes, we'll jump right into a leak by a leak
Mm.
screenshot of Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League is making rounds on social media where it showed the like layout where all the characters, and at the top it had what looked like a battle pass
Yeah.
with multiple currencies. So
Yeah.
I don't know the route they're going with this because maybe they didn't learn from Marvel's Avengers that because as we know now, Marvel Avengers is gonna be they're stopping all support for it come September.
Yeah.
So like which way is this game gonna go? Is it gonna go the Avengers route or is it gonna you know we don't know because what we saw in that picture was all like an early build. Lots of things can change once the final product is out, and let's hope it does.
Yes.
Cause I was looking forward to this playing this game until I saw that. I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be another Avengers for me. No.
Yeah. So part of me wants to look at it as this is Rocksteady. They have not missed yet. Like every single game they've delivered on. So I want to have
Debatable.
faith. What's that?
That's debatable.
Debatable. Well, what game
Yeah,
do you think they didn't hit on?
Gotham Knights.
That they didn't make that game.
No, no, not Gotham Knights. I'm sorry. The Dark Knight, the third one of the series of the trilogy.
Okay, all right. That
That
one,
one.
that was like I would say the third. Like if you were to rank them, that would be like the third of like the Dark Knight games.
Okay.
But I still think it's good. I think if they had released a freaking next gen patch, it would have been insane. But I think that it's still good, but they have not made a bad game, is what I'm saying. I don't think anybody would say any of the Dark Knight games are bad.
No, they're not. They're not bad. They're definitely improved upon, but there's certain aspects of the games that were I didn't enjoy personally.
Well, majority of people think that they're not bad games. But anyway, I enjoyed those games, and I do think that they can still deliver because they haven't released the game in what, like 8 years, 9 years or something like that. When did the Dark Knight the last one come out?
Oh no, I don't know. That was a while ago.
It was a long time ago. Like I said, they didn't even release a next gen patch for it. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah, yeah.
So I do want to believe that they can deliver again and give that level of quality to Suicide Squad. But I also thought the same thing about BioWare. And when I first saw Anthem, I was like, oh, this looks great.
Well,
And
no.
the problem with this situation is you're taking a developer and force. Oh, I don't want to say force because maybe it was their idea to do it, but like it comes across as the developer being forced to add battle pass and live service aspects into a game that they otherwise would never even think about doing that stuff in. Same
Yeah.
thing with Avengers. Crystal Dynamics, amazing developer. Granted, you can feel like differently about the games that they make, like with the Tomb Raider, and I'm blanking on what other games they made. Um, but some people might have differing opinions. But for the most part, a lot of people enjoyed the first two Tomb Raider games because I know the third one they didn't make. But they're a competent developer, and they were tasked with creating the Avengers, and Square Enix, go figure, forced them essentially to make a game that was live service that didn't need a live service. Like Avengers
Didn't.
of all games, you would never think, oh yeah, let's put a live service into this. Because
Yeah.
like that's not what people want to play. They want to play for the stories. Like granted, I'm not against if they wanted to put like costume packs or stuff like that. That's fine. People would buy that stuff because it's just cosmetics.
Yeah,
But
as long as it's just cosmetics.
yeah, but they were literally like putting like upgrade cards or not cards, but like just like basically
Gear.
yeah,
Yeah.
gear to upgrade your stuff. And it's like, no, this is not what people want. They want a good, and granted, I've heard that the story is actually pretty good for Avengers. Like
Oh, it
when,
was great. I love
yeah,
the story, like just the story, not all the little things you have to do after the story. The story mode, the campaign for the Avengers was great. I loved it. And
okay,
then after that, I didn't touch it at
yeah.
all. I
So
was like, nope, not doing this.
that's what I'm saying. Is like they purposely add this stuff, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, maybe I didn't play it that long, but I'm pretty sure there were points where like you could not progress the story until you did like the live service type missions, where you had to just go here, do this mission, and kill these bunch of enemies before time runs out, something like that.
They
Am I
had
wrong about that, or
yeah,
was that a
yeah.
thing?
Oh, in the actual main story, not so much of that. But once the DLC dropped, where they introduced new characters, like Kate Bishop, you had to do the live service stuff in order to like continue her story. So
Oh, okay.
with the
So then maybe that's what
DLC,
I'm thinking of.
yeah, with the DLC they did that, but with the main game they didn't do that. You know, it was more like just do the missions, and you can do some of the live service stuff if you want to, but here's the main mission.
Okay.
Yeah,
And I
the
think they
DLC
were
really
also
changed.
they also like made it to like where each character like had to be like it had its own battle pass essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
that is a big turnoff. That I
Oh,
do not want that.
that was scummy.
Yeah, that is insane levels of grind. I
Yeah.
forget. Somebody actually did the calculations like after all the characters or most of
Oh
the characters
no,
came out, and I think they had to. If you were to buy like every single character, do all their battle passes, it was something like 20 grand or something like that.
ridiculous.
It was something ridiculous like that, and I was just like, no, this is not good. This is
And
not good.
you just know some Marvel fanboy went out and did it.
Of course, because that's what these games cater to. They cater to the whales who can afford all this stuff,
Not the
and
whales.
yeah, that's what it is. Like that's why freaking what is it? Grand Theft Auto Online. Like
Oh
they
yeah,
made GTA Plus. Like that's catered to people who want to spend this money, and like
people do.
yeah, they do, and that's why it's like it's so like I can understand from a business standpoint. Like if people are throwing money at you, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you cater to them? But at the same time, you're sacrificing the game in order to just make money. So it
Yeah,
just becomes like a just like a machine just to print money. And like maybe some people don't really care about that stuff, but I do. I value my time. I don't want to feel like I have a second job just to to get the freaking cosmetic skin or whatever. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. And I hope that that was just an early build. Maybe they were testing something and to see if it could work. And if that's the case, then I guess we'll see when it comes out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing really left to say.
Yeah, we definitely will because it has a street date of May 26th. So come May 26th, we'll see. We'll have to see if we can bite the bullet or not. Because if that stays in the game, definitely not.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah, no, I'm already passing on. I was already had low expectations just because like I'm not really into like Suicide Squad that much, but I was willing to like give it a look. If it got like positive reviews and positive previews, maybe. But yeah, no, I'm not if that's the case then I'm not into it at all.
Yeah. So we're gonna continue on with some more news. We have some Starfield news. Not a street date, not yet, but we have some Starfield news. In China, they actually started placing Halo as the Series X flagship on the box. So Starfield will be the new face of Xbox going forward instead of our beloved Master Chief. Um, which I can see why they're doing it. They're trying to market. You know, we were talking a little bit last year about the Xbox's marketing. Um, I hope that this means that they're going to full force behind Starfield, and I just can't wait for the actual game to come out and for it to be, you know, plastered all over every single new Series X coming out is a big deal. You know, because I
Yes.
think it was only Halo and Master Chief before that, right? Did you
Yeah.
remember any other
Well,
mascots? Unless it was
so
like a special edition of the Xbox. Like in general, I think it was only Halo.
um so I do remember I mean at one point Gears of War was kind of like the mascot. Well, Marcus Phoenix, I guess.
Yeah.
Um but other than that,
It's
they
been Halo
really
forever.
haven't. Yeah, it's been Halo, honestly. Like that's been their go-to for like the past 3 generations because that's the main thing. That's what they knew. They always fall back on. And honestly, that's also been their detriment because they haven't been able to create multiple mascot. Like that's one thing I do appreciate that Sony is able to do. Granted, they've been around longer to be able to do that, but they have multiple mascots to the point where like you can if you ask somebody who's the mascot of PlayStation, you can list off like a bunch of people. Like you could list
They're gonna say
Kratos.
they're gonna say like 4 or 5 different characters off the
Yeah,
bat.
you could say Kratos. Some people will say Nathan Drake. Some people will say oh it's Joel from Last of Us. Oh it's
Like
um R-
Cooper.
Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank. Like they
Yeah.
have a repertoire of characters that they can market their brand around, whereas Xbox literally only has like three. They have Master Chief, Marcus Phoenix, and Forza Car.
Where's the car?
Yeah, Forza car. Whenever the latest car is, I remember there was a meme. I think it was because they had the Marcus Phoenix or not the Marcus Phoenix, the Gears remaster or whatever, the first one. They had that one. They had Halo, I think it was Halo 5, and they had the marketing deal with Tomb Raider, which was like exclusive for like a year,
Yeah.
and then they just had Forza. So like literally it's like the mascots of Xbox, Master Chief, Marcus Phoenix, Lara Croft, and Car. It was hilarious.
I remember that
But
meme.
yeah, so they really haven't had another like big mascot. So I hope that this can be the other mascot because this is how big Starfield is, and I agree with you that I want them to full force marketing blitz. Just I want to see I want to see it till I'm nauseated about it. I wanna hate seeing Starfield so much. That's what I want because that's how
Yeah.
I know that it'll be successful. That's when I know it'll be successful.
I mean, they need to take a page right out of Sony. You know, they did commercials, they did collabs with Rick and Morty. You know, they marketed the hell out of God of War, and they need to do
See,
the
that's the
same.
thing. that used to be Halo. I used to see Halo everywhere. I used to say Halo on Mountain Dew packages and Doritos packages. Granted, we did see them a little bit, but because of the whole delay, it kind of threw everything off. But that's what we
Yeah.
saw from Halo. I want to see the same thing for Starfield.
Yeah, let's hope it goes in that direction because you can't have too much marketing with some big names, And I know you mentioned just having a few. Xbox has only a few sort of mascots, but that was in the past. When they only had like 4 or 5 studios. Now they
Right.
have upwards of 34. We need to start.
Exactly.
Xbox needs to start pumping out these games. We need to start making these, mascots because it's not just Xbox making the mascots, it's also the gamers. We latch on to certain games, we love them, they become part of our community, and we're like, well, this is associated with Xbox now. And that's what we need from these 30 plus studios that Xbox now has. We need them to start coming out and swinging hard, especially this year after an abysmal 2022 with almost like, I think it was like 1 or 2 first party games coming out. We need Xbox to hit hard this year. And I think Starfield and Redfall is going to start that in the early half, and we need to have a grand slam at the end.
Absolutely. 100% agree. And hopefully we'll find out more next week when they have the developer direct.
I mean, there won't be any Starfield at the developer direct. They already said that they're going to have their
Well,
own
yeah.
showcase, but there's going to be a lot of games showcasing. Hopefully, we get some dates.
So I heard a rumor. I forgot where I heard it from, but apparently there might be more than just the 4 games that they advertised.
I hope so.
I mean, like I said, I don't want to like confirm or say anything. I just heard it, but we'll see.
Let's see. I did hear also that people were saying don't expect more than what they've already told you, because
I know that's what I'm saying. It's just a rumor. I'm expecting just the 4 games.
Yes,
I would not be surprised if we see more.
Let's just keep it at 4 games. We only got 4 games. Anything else is a plus because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Okay, you're right. So is that all the news?
Yeah, that's all the news.
Okay, so we'll wind down and we'll talk about, we already talked about this on Excuse Me Brother, but we never got your take on it. Did you see the Last of Us TV show?
Obviously.
Yes. And what are your thoughts on them?
Okay, so I thought both the acting and the cinematography of it all was almost 1-to-1 with the game. They did change a few things, which is fine. It wasn't bad to me. I thought it was good. I liked the show. I'm going to continue watch the show. As a matter of fact, after we finish recording, I'm gonna watch it. The second episode. My thing is, if it stays 1-to-1 throughout the entire series, what is there more for me to watch? I've already seen it. I've played it multiple times, beaten the game multiple times. I've already know the full story. What is there more for me? What is gonna keep me coming back besides just my general, maybe I should see it. I liked it, but what way are we going? What can we do slightly different from the game that's gonna keep me enticed into this series? I mean, granted, Pedro Pascal was amazing as Joel. I think he did a great job. I forget the name of the actress who plays Ellie.
I think her name is Bella. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That sounds correct.
All right, hold on. Let me just look up real quick.
Yeah, because we want to do her justice because she did a really good job as Ellie.
Let's see. Cast.
Sounds like I'm trying
Bella Ramsey.
Bella Ramsey. She did a great job as Ellie. I can see her as Ellie,
Yes. Her mannerisms were like perfect, like accurate.
Yeah. Like I said, for the most part, the show and the first episode was almost 1-to-1. They changed a few things because, as we know, in the game they wanted to get weapons. It wasn't a car battery that they needed. It wasn't a fungus. It was spores in the game. It was a little different. There's some differences, but those differences were good. I'm not saying that they were bad. I enjoyed the show. I want more of it, but I also want to be surprised, and that's where I'm having a conflict. I feel like I'm not gonna be surprised, so it's just gonna be like, yeah, it was The Last of Us. It was good.
All right, so here's a different perspective that you can look at it from. So I've also played The Last of Us. I played through the first one at least. I still haven't yet to play the second one. I'm gonna get there eventually.
Yeah.
But the way I look at it is basically replaying it. So I'm watching the game or watching the show as me replaying a game that I enjoyed playing. And also what helps is my fiance, she also played it, but she doesn't really remember a lot of the stuff. So she's kind of reintroducing herself into the franchise through the show. So seeing her reactions to stuff also kind of gives me like entertainment watching with her.
Okay.
So, because I remember a lot of the stuff that happened, and it's also just because you know how when you watch a movie based off of something or like a book or a comic book or whatever, a lot of times if you know already what happens, you go to see the movie. Oh, how are they gonna do this? How are they gonna do that? Are they gonna be 1-to-1? Is it gonna be like that's where the surprise comes from. Like you said, what changes are they gonna make? Are they gonna make any changes? I think so far they've made enough changes to where I can be like, okay, I see what they did. Either I like it or I didn't like it. So far, it's been that I liked it. I feel like the added context of where it came from, like where this virus came from, which they haven't really gone into deep, but there's actually like theories about like where it could have come from. Because I feel like in the game they never really said where it came from, or maybe I'm just blanking, but they never like gave an origin. Like it just kind of happened.
I think in the game it was like bad crops. I could be wrong though. I don't want to, because it's been a while since I actually.
Yeah, it's been a while since I played it as well. Yeah. So
because they also hinted in the show that it could be from contaminated food with that particular fungus. So we'll see as we go on. Like I said, I enjoyed the episode. I'm gonna watch later on the second episode. I'm enjoying it, but I want something more. And I see your point, but for me in particular, I don't like to play games that I've already beat over again. So that's why I want something more. Because it's going to be like, okay, it's The Last of Us. I know it. It's good story. I'll watch it because I want to see. I'll support anything Pedro Pascal's in.
Well, yeah.
I'll support anything he's in. So I'll watch it. And I know I'm going to enjoy it. So I just hope for something to keep me, to wanting to see it every Sunday,
I think the performances also will like help you, like I said, just seeing how they portray it as on the show, like what they change, what they keep the same, and like I said, the performances are also like what you watch it for. A lot of people don't like the story. Sometimes these shows, the story can be like whatever, but the performances that they give is what it's like. Wow, So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I don't know how many episodes it has left or how many is planned. And I'm pretty sure they'll follow it, like the sequel will be season 2, because I don't think they're going to split the first game into multiple seasons.
I hope not.
Yeah, at least I hope not, because I don't think that's the move, because that's just stalling at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we'll see how it goes and how the story progresses, but otherwise, I mean, I've said my piece on Excuse Me, Brother, if you want to hear my thoughts on it.
I heard it.
Yeah. I'm excited. And granted, like by the time this episode comes out, episode 2 will already be out, but
yes,
so far so good is what I'll say.
For sure. I'm with you. So far so good. I want more, but so far so good.
Right. So this leads into like one of the topics I wanted to talk about. Granted, the news kind of took up a lot of the time, more than I thought. But what are some games or some games that deserve a TV show or movie, or maybe just one game in particular?
Okay, so I'm not sure if it will deserve a TV show or movie, but it's just my personal opinion on the matter. I kind of want to just talk a little bit about two. I want a game based off a Top Gun. Okay.
Okay.
Because I like the Ace Combat series, but that's more like video game-ish. I want something like big, like Top Gun big, dog fighting, and I want a story. That's what I can see. I'm
Oh,
not
so
sure if it
you're
will.
going the opposite way first, because that was gonna be my next question.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but I was just,
As
that,
I, as
that's
I,
what that's what I just feel like. I feel like Top Gun should be a video game. That should be like a really cool video game. You know that they could do it with Ace Combat. They have all the War Thunder. They have all these flight mechanics games. So I feel like they could do it with the right script and the right actors. They can do it.
right.
Um, and on the flip side, I feel like Rise Son of Rome could use a TV show.
Is it essentially well, okay? So that's a good pick, but isn't like what is it called? It was like Spartacus, Blood in the Sand.
Spartacus, I mean, that just has to do with Romans, So I can see where you're making the correlation, but
I don't know. I feel like there was a point in time where I felt like there was, and then there's also like 300 and what was that other movie? Uh, I'm blanking.
you're blanking. Yeah, it's okay. We
With
all
Russell Crowe.
we're talking about. Dang, now I'm blanking.
What is it? I can't think of the movie. But anyway, there was a point in time where like I felt like there was always like a
Gladiator.
Roman gladiator. There we go. I saw it. I was like, are you not
Yeah.
entertained? Like
Yes, yes.
that's literally it was in my face or in my brain, and I could not get it out.
It
Um,
literally slipped. I was like Gladiator. There you go.
yeah. So yeah, no, it's one of those things where I felt like it was constant. Like there was always like a Roman type movie show, whatever. But no, if it were to be revived, because that was like a while ago. So if they were
Exactly.
to be to revive, I think Rise would be a good IP
Yeah.
for that.
I mean, if we can't get a sequel, give us a show. Come on, people.
Yeah,
You're doing Halo. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be doing a whole these different games to shows. So give me something here.
right. So I have two games that would I feel like would translate very well into a TV show.
Okay.
Um, so my first one, this one, it may come as a surprise because of the nature of the game, but I feel like Mass Effect would be perfect for a TV show. I know
course
it
you
seems
do.
weird. It seems weird to pick like because it's based off of decisions and stuff like that. But if you play the games, not to be, I mean, granted, these games are mad old already, so it's not really spoiler kind of sort of. But if you play these games, you realize that as much like as much different decisions as you make throughout the game, overall the story is kind of the same. Like the same
Yeah.
stuff kind of happens just in different ways. So I still think they can kind of like come up with like a centralized story and basically like a quote unquote canon version of Mass Effect where and it'll also be entertaining because if you watch it like episodically or whatever, you'll see what decisions were made. Like what did the show decide essentially to do in one particular situation over another, you know? And I think that could lend itself to being like, oh, I want to see what happens next. Like what because there'll be times where I actually watched this YouTube series that essentially just went through every like major decision and what happens if you make that decision. Because like I've always done things a certain way in all my playthroughs. Like I never deviated because I wanted my playthrough, my perfect playthrough. But
Oh
then
no, that's
if I
not
would
fun though.
that's no, I'm just saying for me though. Like yeah,
Okay.
some people like playing differently in different times. That's not me because I don't like doing that. That's whatever.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I would go to like the videos and I would say, okay, what did they choose and what happened? Like, if this character dies, then what happens? Like, all that stuff. So it's very intriguing, and I feel like if they were to do that on the show, that could be like very interesting. Because like, let's say like Commander Shepard made a decision that went against what you did in the game, but they'll see how it plays out differently throughout the show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that could be very good.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I honestly, I feel like I did talk about this in another episode. To be honest, I feel like I'm getting deja vu right now.
Maybe, but either way, it's a good choice. Mass Effect is a great series. I think, as myself, a sci-fi nerd, it will probably make a great show as well. So
Yes, that's another thing too. I just love anything sci-fi.
yeah.
The second one is, and I chose this because it's already kind of episodic as it is. Alan Wake. I feel like that would be also perfect for a TV show.
I don't know if I watched that. I don't like scary stuff.
Okay, it doesn't have to be scary. It just has to be like thrilling. You know, like it doesn't have to be like jump scares and anything like that. Like
No,
it just has to be suspenseful, thrill. Like basically what The Last of Us is. Like there's no jump scares. Not, I mean, granted in the game there are some, but it's not anything like crazy, like just like, oh, a ghost pops up in your face or anything like that. Like those I don't want to say shitty indie games, but like those indie games that do that stuff, you know, like that's the main purpose, is for those jump scares.
Yeah.
But like The Last of Us, that's a suspenseful thriller. Like it's not really a horror. Even the show, I think it says it's under suspenseful thriller. So yeah, I feel like
It
Alan
would be a
Wake.
clicker, but
Well, I mean, we'll get there.
yeah.
But yeah, no, Alan Wake, I feel like is perfect for that medium for TV. And I think I mean, I guess tangentially also Control. Another game by Remedy. That was also kind of, oh, I haven't played it, but I've seen stuff on it that it kind of lends itself to that TV aspect. But yeah, as far as movies and TV shows that could be turn into a video game, I know this is it goes into like a battle royale type thing, but I mean the Hunger Games kind of like they define that genre, but I want a storyline though, because a lot of these battle pass. Why did I blink?
Battle Royale.
Battle Royale. That's what Battle
Got
Royale
you.
games. Thank you. The Battle Royale games, like it's just the game, like it's just playing, and that's great. But I feel like there could be a story there that could be told while that whole thing is coming out. And I feel like the Hunger Games would be a great fit for that.
So you want a mashup of Hunger Games and PUBG?
I mean, yeah. If there was a storyline behind it, because I love when there's like story behind these things. Like that's why I appreciate Fortnite, is that they have an ongoing story in addition to like all this going on. Granted, I'm never gonna see it because I don't play Fortnite like that. But
I mean, I lost track, but yeah.
You have to be on it in order to like know what's going on. But it's cool that this stuff is happening in the game around you while you're playing the battle royale. And I feel like that if they do that for like Hunger Games, but make the story more kind of like apparent than just like, oh, this is happening there, if you go there you might see it. Like, no, have us go there, have us see it, you know. Yeah, so I feel like that would be good.
It could be. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, so anyway, that's that'll do it for us. That we've been rambling for a long time. Longer than I thought. Honestly, it happens every week where we go through, like right before we start the show, we go through like what we have in the news, and then it's like, oh, that's a good list. That'll keep us like maybe like 40 minutes, and then the rest of the time, like, no, we went through it like the whole hour, and then we got to like the discussion topic. But
it's a fruitful, endeavor what we do. We get a lot of content, and we're happy to bring it forward to all our listeners.
Yeah, and it's also hard because like we try to keep it within an hour or as close to an hour as possible, because I know that there's other podcasts that go 2, 3, 4 hours. I'm just like, I don't know if I got that kind of time.
No, Last of Us is coming on in a few minutes.
Yes, and we also have families to attend to, so
yes, it's that too.
yes, that's also important. But that'll do it for us, guys. Thank you for watching and listening. Follow us on our socials. I have it on the new layout. If you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, they have our socials. Also, we have a new TikTok that we'll be posting to, so keep an eye out for that. I have to add that to the graphics because I don't know if I did. I probably will when you see this, but as of right now I haven't added it. So but yeah, so follow us on there, and just thank you, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.